These would be the unsuspecting victims to the most bizarre and yet hilarious Canadian film industry mystery of all time.
So, Megan, is there going to be a suspect list?
Absolutely not. It's so much worse than what you think it is.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
That's the Shyamalan twist we've been waiting for.
And you said there was no suspects.
I'm such an idiot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Coast Files, your podcast for ocean mysteries and true crime. I'm Chantel.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Megan. Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
Hello.
If you are...
Lindsay's- Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, if you're watching, it's very obvious. And if you're listening, I mean, it might actually come up.
Well-
But Lindsay is mostly moved in to her new place, but it's still not quite set up.
Yeah.
So-
all my stuff is here.
That's
It
good.
is half of it's still in boxes. And long story short, we don't have a kitchen right now, so it's
I
a little more
forgot.
chaotic because of that. We're using like this hot plate. Another long story short, I've already mentioned probably about my asbestos thing. There was asbestos in the floor of the kitchen. So one thing led to another, and asbestos became my worst enemy ever and haunted my dreams, and I had to get rid of it. So the whole kitchen went in the end. It was from the 50s. I was looking forward to my vintage kitchen, but now I
You
have
can
a
still
new
make it look
asbestos-free
vintage.
kitchen.
Yeah, we
I
want
now
to
I
look
have to get rid of the asbestos.
like
all the
want to
vintage
look
is gone.
vintage, but not
Yes.
be deadly.
It's
Like-
it looks
That's ideal.
it's gonna have I think there's some term for it I've been noticing. It's like transitional. That's it. Where it's like from vintage to modern.
Okay.
So maybe that's what I'm going for. but
That
I
sounds
don't-
like my
don't quote me,
Pinterest board. So
because I like the vintage elements with a modern flair.
we were just
maybe.
talking about this actually, that
Mhm.
Chantel has a fridge that plays an alarm when you leave it open, like if you
and
don't
you
close
can't
it all
turn
the
it
way.
off. I want to turn it off because
And the joke is that we hate some of like the bells and whistles that new stuff has. So I want
Mhm.
like a vintage like 1950s refrigerator, but it's actually modern on the inside, minus the alarm.
Right. It just looks vintage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
I like that idea. Also, I hate stainless steel, so I'd be happy to get rid
Yeah,
of
I don't love it
any-
either.
it.
I
Every
don't mind
fingerprint, like there are fingerprints on there, I swear, from people that don't even live here. Like I don't understand how there
You
are
could solve
so
a
many
murder with that fridge,
fingerprints.
though.
Should
if
we
anyone
get
comes
a
in there.
fingerprint
Like,
kit?
There are so
Um,
many fingerprints on that fridge, and I don't understand where they come from.
Next time I come over, I'm going to write you a message in my fingerprints.
Okay,
You'll
great.
love it.
I'll hate you when I'm cleaning.
Okay, we should get started
That's
because we're a
totally
little bit tight
fair.
for time.
Mhm.
And this story needs time to process because it's wild.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So you have
Should
your
I be
photos.
excited?
Oh yeah, like it's
Okay.
hilarious.
Oh,
And it's
wait,
just
wait.
Ah!
We forgot to mention first.
Yes.
Today is the anniversary of the Titan implosion. It happened 2 years ago. And
wow.
we
I
kind
am
of dropped the
already
ball
2
on that.
years.
I am so excited to watch the documentary, which I will have watched by
Yes.
the time this comes out.
Yes.
Same.
Yeah, that I had I know there was very other important things happening at that same time, but I was one of those people who was taken in by what's happening. when
Lindsay,
it
it's about the
happened.
Titanic. You don't have to explain. They
I
already
know. I was into it.
I'm very excited to see that documentary. I've been watching like snippets of it and seeing like on TikTok and everything. And I'm like,
Okay,
oh
yeah.
my God, the information that is out there now with it. But maybe once, because, our episode probably wouldn't do as great as the documentary is going to do. So we'll cover it next year for the anniversary.
Yeah.
We're gonna absorb the documentary info
Mhm.
and
For a
then just
year.
tell you again all about it from our
Yeah,
own
and-
point of view.
Yes, exactly.
There'll be even more information by then. So
If you've clicked on this episode, you already know what the topic is, but the girls don't really know. But it is Titanic related. So let's get started. The year 1996. Where? Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. The culprit,
sounds familiar.
seafood chowder.
What?
I know what
Here
you're
is-
going for.
Here is the story.
I don't.
I know. You tell Megan.
Well, of course, Lindsay would know because she lives and breathes this stuff.
Yeah, it's her
So,
Roman
a
Empire.
group of talented people led by an intense but passionate ocean exploration enthusiast and filmmaker break for lunch on the set of this podcast's favorite film, The Titanic. What would start as a standard crew catered lunch in the final weeks at their East Coast location would end in 80 episodes done. 80 hospitalizations, a police investigation, and a conga line.
I don't
Ooh.
know how any of these things go together, but I'm very excited to find out.
Oh, I already
Well,
know.
I know some of them
except
go
for the
together.
conga line. That's
The
the only
conga
thing
line,
I'm
you lost
confused
me.
about.
Everything else
Yeah.
seemed to be going like how it should go, and then there was a
Yeah,
conga line.
wait.
So, wait.
So, the cast and crew of James, am I okay?
It's been a long week already. It's Monday.
Oh, hold on. We're going to take this part out because, like, I can say a sentence. I'm just really tired.
I have a sip of water too.
You know I'm not taking it out of the video.
God damn it. The cast and crew of James Cameron's 1997 Titanic, comprised of electricians, set directors, key grips, set painters, actors, set painters, and so much more. I think we all know that movies take a lot of people.
There's a lot of
Yes,
moving
a lot of
there's
job titles
pieces.
I've
It's a
never heard
lot.
of show up on those.
Like,
end
what if one
credits.
day I become like the accountant for a movie and I'm like, you're way over budget. And then they're like, get out of here, you're fired. And I'm homeless. Okay, anyway, that escalated quickly.
That escalated so quickly, but there we are.
I didn't have
You can
any
always be the
savings.
best
So
boy, key grip, or whatever. All those. There's so many job titles.
It's where
You
there's
could
like
be one of
shoelace
those.
tire. Like
Yeah.
it's-
that's another job I could do. And then I get fired. They're too damn
She
tight.
tied them together.
Or they came untied. That's just
Shit.
fireable.
even worse.
offense
Leo broke his
immediately.
arm.
Remember how I said that we're short for time and already we're like fucking up?
You're one sentence in, maybe. I don't know. You have those run-on sentences. So,
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you know, could be one
It
sentence,
could be 10
a paragraph.
sentences, but
it could be the
they're
whole
each
episode.
5 pages. Yeah.
Oh, this is just, and it's only gonna get crazier because the shit that I say, you're gonna have comments on it. Like, there's no way you're not
Amazing.
going to.
Can't wait.
So these would be the unsuspecting victims to the most bizarre and yet hilarious Canadian film industry mystery of all time. Industry mystery. That sounds like a cool little.
Industry mystery.
It's not alliteration, but okay. So lunchtime on the set of this particular week was organized by a couple local companies and likely very, smaller than usual. Because we were in the final weeks of filming, and these were the scenes that were set in modern time, where you had Bill Paxton as Brock Levitt, the treasure hunter.
R.I.P.
Oh my God, I talk about him a little bit later. I just freaking love Bill Paxton. We had
Same.
Gloria Stewart as Old Rose, also R.I.P. And the rest of the
Mhm.
ship's research scenes. So you remember how the movie starts, and then that's kind of like the anchor that kind of takes you through the whole story. You kind of go back to the present. So
Mhm.
they were shooting night scenes on a research vessel with submersibles for that modern day look and the exploration that framed the historical story of the Titanic's sinking. We all know, if you haven't watched it, watch it.
What are you doing with your life?
Who are you?
Get on
Like,
it.
actually stop
old
this
are you?
podcast and watch it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
for
you?
the next 3
you
hours.
under 20?
Yeah, if you're under 20, fair.
I
But if
had the
you're-
double VHS. That's
Yep,
how
same.
old I
I
am.
still
Okay.
remember
had
where
it
the
too.
break is.
Yeah.
Woo!
Just threw my bowl.
They're
No,
just
I
really
remember-
passionate.
I'm so passionate about this because when we were watching the Titanic recently, I looked up at the TV and I was like, "And this is where you would change the VHS tape." And Vadim was like, "What?" And I was like,
Which
'Cause it
scene?
used to
Because
be-
I feel like I can see it, but I can't remember.
It's on the boat. It's where they it's where they come back and it's Rose and Jack, and she's in that purple pretty one. They
God,
just
I
met
love
them
that
because
dress.
he's just about to put the diamond into Leo's pocket.
Oh, was it right after she was gonna get off, but then she'd jump back in the ship?
No. This is before that. So this is
Oh,
like I
okay.
think that they were just on the dock and it hits and
oh,
then
right.
it breaks
That's
to
right.
the
She
next
put it in her
scene.
pocket, and then she was going down on the lifeboat.
Yeah.
and then she
No.
went back
So
in.
this is when the other guy
Mm.
put it into Leo's pocket.
Yeah,
so
to
it's
frame
just after
him.
the
Right,
iceberg hits
Berg.
them, then they break
Yeah.
it. My poor baby's coughing.
That's
again.
actually a great
And-
time to cut the movie in half.
Yeah,
It's
Oh,
like
because
this,
then the craziness really starts.
Mhm.
So.
well, speaking of those two lovebirds, Leo and Kate were not on set because, as we know, they are in 1912, whereas this segment was the newer scenes.
Mhm.
So, being on the East Coast, many people could not resist a bowl of delicious seafood chowder
That's
with
so good.
chunks of lobster. Like, hold me back.
Oh yeah, That's like
Give me that
high-end
clammy-
seafood chowder where you get this lobster.
James Cameron, writer, director, and producer on the film, claims
Future
to have
husband.
eaten 3 bowls. Future husband.
Oh, 3 bowls.
So he was
That's
like,
a lot. Even
fuck
if it's
yeah.
not, even if there,
Yeah.
I'm sure this is going to something's wrong with the clam chowder. Even if there's not anything wrong, that's a lot of clam
And
chowder. Okay,
To those
that's a
who are not
lot of
familiar with
dairy.
clam chowder, you can usually get a
Cream.
cup or a bowl.
yeah, like it's
like people know that even a cup might be enough for you. If you
the first 2
can't
ingredients
handle
other than
cream.
seafood is butter and cream.
butter. Yeah.
So,
So,
if
like-
you want a bowl of butter and cream, then you get that.
Which,
But 3
I mean-
bowls, it's a lot.
Also not on set was 86-year-old Gloria Stewart.
Probably thank God.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So she did not have any of the chowder, and also no children had chowder because they don't have good taste buds. But it really
Don't
benefited
waste that
them.
food on children.
So as the crew began to digest their lunch, it was clear that something was wrong. Rick Courtney, a production assistant, that's another job you can have on a movie. Also, this guy sounds amazing. He's also an experienced sailor, a trained medic, and at the time, I guess, aside from working on movies, he ran a safety training company.
Okay, so
he's
he
like-
sounds like a good person to have there
In
for
case something
whatever's
were
happening.
To go awry.
awry?
He says this, I remember it was day 21 of filming, the final day, and since we were filming night scenes, we broke for lunch around midnight. After eating, people started acting strange. I remember hearing on the headset that people were acting very bizarre down in the lunchroom. Rick was then in the production office when James Cameron comes to him and says, "You're a medic, right?" Rick goes, "Yep." Then Cameron says, "Well, fix me. There's something wrong with me."
That's so dramatic.
Do your job.
Cameron would then go on to describe experiencing hallucinations and feeling like he was drunk. Prior to finding Rick, the medic, another crew member said in an interview that he saw James Cameron running down the hall, being followed by an assistant, and James was yelling, "There's something in me, get it out!"
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Not long after this, Rick began attending to more and more ill people, but it quickly surpassed his capacity, and they called emergency services. He goes on to say, "We had a whole bunch of people who were acting extremely bizarre. And so I decided there's too many people here. This is not an isolated incident. So we activated EMS and got a bunch of ambulances." Because don't forget,
wow.
I had said 80 people ended up
80,
going to the
yeah.
hospital.
Oh my gosh.
I'm laughing only because
But
I
there's
know how
probably
it
more
ends.
than that sick. That's just 80 who went to the
Yeah.
hospital. Could potentially other people have felt sick as well, or was it just like 80 of them? Or do
Well,
you know that?
we'll get into it
Were
because
you there?
everyone. I was 9 years old.
Did you
I
serve
was the
soup?
iceberg. Actually, I made the chowder.
Actually, I do have one question though, and I'm not surprised that you made it. Don't trust
go ahead.
Megan's food. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's the best.
When
Yeah,
they
I was gonna
said-
say you fucking
Yeah.
better
Her
walk
fish
that back.
tacos. Like I dream about those.
I'm gonna make those for my parents next week because I just miss my parents.
You,
And my
I'm
mom
so
is
lucky
here.
to have you as a daughter. I'm serious.
I know, I agree. And
Yeah.
my mom is here later in August, and I'm like, that's on the menu, making you fish tacos and my homemade tortilla chips.
I'll be
Anyway,
there.
Chantel, guess.
Okay, so Gami's kicking in, so let me get this question out. 21 days of filming, was that just in Halifax or in
So-
Dartmouth? Because it seems like 21 days to film the Titanic is a little short.
Okay. So if
No,
it wasn't
just
made, if it wasn't
modern
made clear,
scenes.
it was day 21 of filming this segment.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, that makes a lot
Because
more sense.
if
Okay.
if you didn't know, most of the Titanic is on like sound stages, and like in giant
Yeah.
pools. So there's not a whole lot of like on land.
You mean they didn't make them freeze in the Atlantic Ocean
They didn't
for real?
build a real Titanic.
Well, they
and
did. They
sink
had
it.
to rehire the cast twice because some people died.
That's for
I did know they filmed in Halifax, but I didn't know exactly what scenes. But I did know that maybe I don't know. It's
And
just
listen, this took place in Dartmouth, but as we
Yeah.
know, if you're not from the area, people can say Halifax and they mean Dartmouth.
Mhm.
So I'm telling myself they filmed it in Halifax, but
yeah.
it
A
literally could have
jeweler
been
in
across the water.
Halifax made the heart of the ocean.
There you go.
necklace.
Well,
so we're gonna tell
which
ourselves that it
hospital
happened.
did these guys go to? Because that'll tell us where it
Dartmouth
was.
General.
So this was in
Yeah.
Dartmouth.
So Bill Paxton, one of the best, who again, like just
know.
I'm still like torn up. I just love
Yes.
Bill Paxton so much. Whenever we are watching Twister, it's just like Bill's back. Okay, anyway, I love him. So
is Bill Paxton dead?
Yes.
yeah, Are you just
I
figuring
said
this
for a
out?
Sort of
while.
remember this, but
Yeah.
I like that had forgotten. That had forgotten. Yep.
Words.
That
So
brain had forgotten.
Now your heart can break. Now.
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
broke.
I-
So Bill Paxton was on with Larry King back in I put 2025. It was 2015. And he describes eating the chowder with Cameron and then hearing a commotion as many more people became affected. And then also he remembers when all the ambulances were arriving. So he and Cameron initially thought that there was some kind of neurotoxin in the clams.
Okay.
I don't know anything about that, but it means dangerous. Like seafood can kill you. You
Well,
know?
there's a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff going on right now with they're saying it's not related to to the mussels
Oh God.
in New Brunswick. But my mom's like, but it's definitely related to the mussels in New Brunswick. And I think it's something about some sort of toxin that people are getting from it.
So
and
just be
it's-
wary of clam chowder. It could be your
Mhm.
last.
Mhm.
Okay.
get the best.
Or your craziest.
Well,
You're gonna
listen,
tell us
this
if people
this
died,
kind of
right?
clam
I don't think many
chowder,
people died.
I might actually try. So he says it's kind of a crazy story. You see some people freaking out, some people conga dancing, and other people are euphoric. I knew I was stoned on something pretty bad, which I just love that he said that. So Jake Clark, a crew member, said we had a room for the grips and the electricians, and one of the guys started talking really hyper. He's a big guy, like 6'4", and he says, "Do you guys feel okay? Because I don't. I feel like I'm on something, and believe me, I would know." I just love all of these little like. I remember this one guy. Okay, this is kind of fun too. Local gal Marilyn McAvoy was a set painter, and actually, I read that she, well, at least at the time of the article, like last year, was working at the Nova Scotia Art Museum part time or
Cool.
NASCAD.
Yeah.
Either way, she's still in art and she's local. We love her. She even got an unexpected cameo in the movie as a technician handling a document because I guess that Cameron saw her and he was like, "You just move that from here, like you're gonna do it.
Art
You
Institute
look
of
like
Nova
you're good at holding
Scotia, I
documents.
You look like you know what you're doing."
Yes.
Which I thought was kind of cool because she was like not meant to be in front of the camera. Marilyn, in fact, did eat the chowder. She says, "I was still functioning. I wasn't nauseous or anything like that, but it seemed to have affected people in many, many different ways. I felt like I had drunk 3 beers and had a joint." Fucking
This
love
is a very
Marilyn.
maritime thing to
chowder
do.
could be sold for a lot of money, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't have
Sounds
a
like
lot
free
of
drugs.
I didn't have a lot of experience with psychedelic drugs. But there were people I knew that were having some really bad, really tough times. It was kind of flashback related. So I don't know like what that means.
Yeah, I'm thinking, is there like mushrooms in here? Or like,
But well,
we'll
we're
get
going to
to
get to
A
it.
little bit
And
of acid.
It's so much worse than what you think it is.
Oh God.
oh, okay.
So the party continued at Dartmouth General Hospital as over 80 cast and crew were admitted and treated over the course of many hours. Cameron was quoted as saying, "This is 100% a true story. You haven't lived until you've been high on PCP," which, by the way, I do not
Oh.
recommend to anyone. There was an emergency room with no one in it and like a nurse, and then 85 crew members walk in, the director recalled. "We don't know what's going on. And basically, somebody had taken a pound of PCP and dumped it into the chowder."
A pound.
Like,
Okay, so there's
That's so much.
now, for those that don't
psychoactive
know,
drug.
because I'm a little baby, PCP, also known as phencyclidine, see, or
I
angel
see
dust.
why they go by PCP.
Yeah, I know, because I could hardly even say it.
Mhm.
Is a mind-altering drug that can lead to hallucinations, check, psychosis, that'd be like the
Mhm.
flashbacks,
Yeah.
and also can work as a stimulant or a depressant or an anesthetic.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's like ketamine's an
Gotta-
anesthetic, but it's used as a street drug
Okay.
and party
Not-
drug.
Like, again, I'm such a baby.
I don't know my drugs, I guess, because I mean,
mean,
I've
that's-
heard of PCP, but I didn't know.
I've definitely heard of it. What was the guy? Remember the guy who
Isn't that
ate?
is PCP the same as angel dust or something?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah, that's what she
literally just
just
said
said.
it.
Oh, I was totally paying attention.
Are you okay?
That mango's getting.
What was in that mango? Was there PCP
Yeah.
in that mango?
Was there
There's
PCP
PCP in the
mango?
mango.
So Marilyn described the emergency room as chaotic, with dozens of people experiencing a wide range of symptoms. Some people just wanted to be alone. Some were experiencing unsettling flashbacks, as we've discussed, and others wanted to party. Claude Roussel, set
Okay.
decorator, described
Mhm.
Bill Paxton as a real sweetie. He was sitting next to me in the hallway of the
Course.
hospital, just kind of enjoying the buzz. Meanwhile, Grips were down the hallway doing wheelies in wheelchairs and having wheelchair races. Like, I just
That'd be
imagine
fun.
like Chantel working at a hospital and like 85 people come in all at the same time.
Chaos.
Oh my God. Okay. Again,
At that
I've
point,
heard
do you
Dartmouth
join them?
General is busy on a normal day, isn't it?
this apparently
So-
was a quiet night until, and
Oh,
also
until
don't forget,
this.
it's like middle of the night, right? Because I mean, if they're breaking for lunch at midnight, so it probably was like
Yeah.
what, 2 a.m. I don't know. So Paxton would quietly leave the hospital, head back to his trailer with a case of beer and a bag of joints, and he kept the party going until about dawn.
What a trooper.
He did it.
I love that. Claude describes Dartmouth General's emergency room as one corner has people moaning, wailing, crying, collapsed on tables and gurneys, and in another, the director of photography, Caleb Deschanel, is leading a number of crew up and down the hallway in a highly vocal conga line. He says, "You can't make this stuff up. It was just a strange experience."
First of all,
I-
I can't imagine how
now-
scary that would be for people
If you didn't
who-
know.
If you've
Well,
never, yeah.
all of them
to-
had no idea, and if they've never done drugs before,
Yeah, that could be really dangerous
That'd be
to just
terrifying.
expose someone.
No one was seriously hurt, by the way. I'll say that now.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's good.
Like, the most is probably just like,
but
Now,
the mental-
should we start? Okay, go ahead. Sean.
I was gonna
Sorry,
say,
go ahead.
secondly, it's just like as a look back, probably hilarious for most of them now. Some
now.
of them probably do have a little bit of PTSD over this. They could never
Entertaining
eat
for
clam
the
chowder again.
staff too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
clam
Megan, is
chowder-
there going to be a suspect list?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Okay.
So Jake Clark would recall bumping into James Cameron and Bill Paxton much, much later. He says their eyes were unbelievably beet red. Cameron had a bottle of scotch and Paxton had that bag of joints. And even though Jake Clark hadn't eaten any of the chowder himself, he said he ended up at the hospital till about 4 a.m., making sure everyone was okay. And then he headed back with the director and one of the stars and had a joint in the trailer.
Nice.
So,
I
like,
want to know where Paxton
all.
got his bag of joints, though.
apparently he was a little bit of a pothead, stoner type. And
Doesn't
so
surprise me at all. Nothing you're
he-
saying is shocking.
as soon as he gets into Canada, he's like,
It might have been a lot
Okay.
harder to get though back in.
I know,
96.
96.
Yeah.
It must have been real good shit.
yeah.
So, to answer Lindsay's question, who put the PCP in the chowder? Like, they literally don't know, but they kind of know. So,
Mhm.
Cameron has his own theory. He says, "We have a pretty strong suspicion on who it is, although it was never proven.
Paxton?
We believe the story that it was someone that had a beef with the caterers because the first thing we did was fire the caterers." He says the first thing we did, he means like someone on his staff because like the director is not
Right,
firing caterers.
Clearly.
He
says-
says got other fish to fry.
Yeah.
Like making a movie.
So many fish puns. He says, and sure enough, we had some leads on that. Of course, the operating theory was that I was such a psychomaniac that the perpetrator was trying to get back at me, but I reject that theory out of hand. Wait, I reject that theory out of hand for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I would never
mean,
say that about you, Jim, ever.
No, we would never. And anyone who poisons you, we don't like them.
They got to go through us first.
Yeah. We got you.
I actually do kind of want to get high on PCP by way of chowder. That would be fun. As long as I knew it was happening.
As long as you knew it was happening,
Mm,
yes.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
not let it be a surprise high.
I
just so you-
mailed
just
you
so-
some PCP
So
late
all of you
chowder in the
know.
mail.
After I've been working 21 days straight, maybe I don't know.
Maybe
how
I
I'd
need
feel
some
about it.
PCP
Maybe I
chowder.
do
Yeah,
need it.
welcome
I don't
that.
know.
Maybe somebody just was like, we all need a break, and they're the ones that put it in there.
I mean, I wish, but that's still so not okay.
So bad. No, none of this is okay. However it happened, it's not okay. But
Yeah.
it's that's what I'm assuming.
And I have
Paxton.
heard that
just love Bill Paxton so much.
we've all heard James Cameron can be difficult at times.
I believe I called him intense and passionate.
Intense, right? Which we've seen. But for someone to take it out on the entire staff does seem very
Mhm.
unlikely. Like,
yeah, no, they
you
would have
would-
been.
you could have just poisoned his coffee
You could have, yeah, exactly.
with like PCP. Not everyone you work with.
But
Yeah.
now, okay, so I don't actually know the measurements of what, and I mean, so James Cameron says a pound. That could be like anecdotal, like, oh, it's a pound of this. Like, I have no idea how much was actually in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, was anyone ever at risk of like serious injury or like dying? Like, obviously, if Gloria, the 86-year-old old Rose, was there, or if they had like teens or preteens, I'm not sure what they would be doing
Yeah.
for those scenes, but just
Even
like,
people who are smaller getting a higher
yeah.
quantity. I don't know.
Or if they have
Or
any kind
also
of like
if they're on
medical condition.
medications. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it could
That it
I
could
affect that. Yeah. Could have
I
been
just don't understand
way worse.
why. So they're saying that they wanted the caterers to get fired, essentially. So then they like framed the caterers as if the caterers
But
themselves would
everyone
put
knows they were
PCP.
framed, so it's like, how is that they could be like upset with them for ruining their product.
Yeah.
But
ruining
also,
their
that also
contract.
seems a bit extreme to
Yeah.
do to everybody that you work with to get back at the caterers. Like, couldn't you just be like,
And you're
hey,
done now. It's the last day. Like, just
Things-
get over it. Order
Things
a
aren't
pizza.
that
Don't eat
great.
their food.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, now I'm actually wondering, Chantel, your idea kind of makes sense. If somebody was like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I did this and everyone just like had a good time? But when you don't
Yeah.
know
didn't
you're
think of
on
like
drugs.
the other consequences of doing it.
That would
And I mean,
make
if you're the
sense.
one that's poisoning, because it is like spiking
No, it's
poisoning the
poisoning.
chowder.
Yeah.
So would you then not take it because you need to keep your wits about you to keep the lie up? Because what if you took it and you were like, hey, buddy, I'm the one that did this. Like
That's fair. That's fair. I would be. Maybe there was one person that didn't eat the clam chowder there.
So maybe it was
Then you
Gloria.
know.
Maybe it was the
Right.
86-year-old who was like, it's been 84 years. Okay. The original police report was filed on August 6th, 1996, which sounds like a million years ago.
Yeah.
1996.
Yeah.
And there were
We
a
were
couple
babies.
of we were
8-year-olds. Yeah.
Mhm.
little children. There was a couple of follow-up submissions and many redactions. Now, I didn't know this part, but former Nova Scotia's Information and Privacy Commissioner, Tricia Ralph, had worked to release the report and all of the redacted information. I couldn't find it anywhere. It's hard to Google, like, Titanic police report poison. Like, how do you Google that? But I couldn't find
Redacted.
it anywhere. It looks like
Yeah,
she
it-
left her role last year, so 2024. And I think that it was still in progress. So as far as I know, it's not been released.
Oh, okay.
But like, if
I
someone
mean, maybe
finds
it's
that,
possible, but it'd be like a paper file somewhere, probably.
This is going to be on Unsolved Mysteries one day, for sure.
oh my god, I want to see it really like dramatized because
Yeah.
that would be even more
Yes.
funny.
I want to see the
Oh my
most
God.
dramatic conga line you have ever seen in your entire life.
Get James Cameron to direct the whole thing.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
I want to see like a black and white recreation of someone doing a wheelie in a wheelchair.
Wait, what was the quote from the guy?
I had so many. You have to be more specific.
It was, you said it earlier, and it was really funny because we're like, how are people actually saying these things?
That's like everything that I've
Yeah.
said.
Anyway, either
This
way,
whole
it's,
story is
I can just imagine
bonkers.
those being very dramatized and
Oh, well, it was definitely probably from Jake Clark, I would say, because he was the
Mm.
only like sober one. He was like the medic, sailor, can do everything, and he
Oh,
was
yeah.
he didn't have any of the chowder, and he was there till 4 a.m. I mean, like everyone good. Just imagine now looking back how just your night went from, and obviously you're probably adjusting your sleep, but you're still
Yeah.
tired. It's midnight. You're having lunch at midnight,
Mm.
so everyone's
Mhm.
like just holding on for dear life, and then everyone starts going crazy, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
where am I?
I want to watch a
Oh.
movie made on this story. If it's Unsolved Mysteries, great. If it's like a
Yeah,
documentary,
Titanic Part 2.
oh my
I
god,
want to know.
I totally want to watch that. Okay, so like I said, it looks like Trisha ended her role before she could actually get the report released. So stay
You know,
tuned
she
on that.
still doesn't sleep at night over this.
That's
She's
been like-
tossing
I
and
can't
turning.
believe I had to retire before I cracked the clam
So
chowder case.
she worked on it for almost 30 years and then couldn't.
No, no. So the
Okay.
role is called the Information and Privacy Commissioner, and I think it's related to either the government or the police. I didn't look
Mhm.
into it very far. I probably should have, but essentially,
okay.
she was like, "Hey, police, you should release this report," and they're like, "I don't know, maybe." And they did that for a couple of years until she left the job. So like,
Oh, okay.
it
So
didn't
she
really go anywhere.
tried.
she did the best that she could.
A lot of red tape, couldn't get it done. Okay.
But I mean, maybe the next person is like, "Hey, this has
Yeah.
been a real snake in my boot. I'm gonna figure this out." I couldn't think of a fucking
saying?
analogy. Well,
I
it's
mean, it's
for
a
Toy
great
Story.
Canadian mystery. We need to know.
That's a real twig in my maple fudge. I don't know.
I'm going to think about this story every time I eat clam chowder from now, or seafood
If
chowder.
I ever have it again.
Oh, you know that when we're old in like the retirement home, we're gonna eat clam chowder and we're gonna be like, "Did you guys know?"
Oh, maybe I will spike it then, and it'll be like a full circle thing.
That would be fun. Although,
Your
remember, we're
kid,
elderly.
Lindsay, your kids
so-
will be like, "What are they? Why are they in a conga line?"
Yeah, mom and her besties are dancing Congo.
Conga line, and also what's that one? Limbo. Someone holds like someone's walker, and we're like,
I
limbo.
don't imagine I'll be very good at that when I'm this. An
No,
elderly
it's like at
lady,
our
but-
heads.
Okay,
Just
So
shuffle
walk straight.
underneath.
Slightly bend head.
Or maybe I have such
this.
a hunchback. I could
Yeah,
just.
was we're like this, we're
Look.
like, oh, it's perfect.
Well, our tech necks have got up to us.
This is gonna
and
be the
we have no
craziest old
spine
folks home
working
ever.
anymore.
So
Blink-182, just in the background.
Oh yeah.
obviously,
Blasting.
and then me trying to sing Evanescence, but I have my hearing aids all the way up, and they're like, "Megan, shut up."
You have them out. They're just on the table.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's an inside joke that we
I
probably
hope your
haven't
dad
shared.
loves that right now.
My dad doesn't listen to this. My dad's never listened.
I'm gonna
This is
send him a
riveting
clip just
content.
of that.
But Erin does listen, so if she ever gets
Okay.
to this episode, she'll be like,
Yes.
"God damn it!" They would like be stomping on the floor, like, "Shut up!"
I actually listened to that song maybe like a month ago because I was randomly feeling nostalgic.
So
Mm.
good.
I
God,
have
the
a-
pipes on her. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I
know, I'm like,
try.
it's still impressive.
You're close,
So
Megan.
impressive.
You're so close.
Yeah, so
I'm
close. You'll
almost-
have time to.
You're almost there.
You know
Just
what,
a
when you
couple
retire,
lessons.
You can
Mhm.
work on it every day. That could be the like your thing. You know.
Yeah, that's
That's like your thing now.
some people knit. Some people take up making beer.
I'm going
Megan,
to
some people
perfect
practice.
the
Some people
Evanescence discography. That's
Yeah.
what my goal is. Okay. I guess we'll talk about the rest of the story now.
Okay.
The investigation of possible food contamination on the set of the Titanic was undertaken by the Department of Health. But by the time they found out that the food specifically
Yeah.
the lobster
Hard word.
chowder had been contaminated with PCP, which like we kind of knew that.
No shit, Sherlock. Thank you.
The Titanic set had moved down to Mexico, which did you know that they filmed in Mexico?
No.
No,
What
I
part?
only knew about the Halifax, Dartmouth, and then there was elsewhere.
Like a set.
Co and co.
When they had moved the set down to Mexico, with it, many of the people involved had dispersed across the U.S. and Canada. So essentially, as soon as they're like, yeah, you're right, it was PCP, there was no one left to really keep it going. Because, I mean, really, it's not that it's
Yeah,
a
you can't
victimless
investigate
crime.
anybody.
But yeah, everyone's gone now. So the general thought is that it was an inside job, as PCP was not a super common drug in the area. I don't know about now. I hope it's not. And also, it was likely it was someone from LA. But like, how do you get drugs across the border? I don't know.
Well, it was 96. It was probably easier.
They
It
just
was
like,
before 9/11.
oh my
It's
God, they just
9/11,
walked.
Yeah.
This is PCP. Just
Yeah.
cross the border. Bye.
I don't have drugs. Don't look in my hand.
Yeah, you know, you probably just did. You even have to like do anything really to cross the border?
I was so young. I just was like,
So, like, come on
Someone
in.
held my hand, and took me through. I have
think
no
at
idea.
that time
Yeah.
they still just had you could just go on your driver's license, couldn't you?
Yeah, I
Couldn't
don't
you
think
go
you need
now?
a driver's
You're
license
fine.
for at least land crossing, right?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe it's not anymore though. Now you need your passport.
So
for
let's
everything.
try a few different things with a passport and drugs. No passport, drugs. No drugs, passport, and we'll see who gets the best deal.
Probably not recommended, especially these days.
Well, listen, it's for science. So
And we can say that, and then you'll get off scot free, right?
And they
If
go,
you're just like, it's for science. You're like,
Let's
Oh.
experiment. Oh,
I
fun.
got-
oh, okay, yeah. Got
actually,
it,
I
got it.
watched your show and I listened to your podcast. So yeah, I remember this one. Yeah, that's never gonna fucking
That's
happen.
exactly how things are. It's exactly how things are going to go
Well,
down.
I'm going to put on record that I will be crossing safely come next a
Says
few weeks.
the mule.
That's what she thinks.
Here, Lizzie, eat these balloons. Don't ask questions about
Does
it.
this come out after my trip? No. Let's stop.
Listen, we can edit this out or put like disclaimer. These are jokes.
Jokes.
Bad ones.
But
Bad
No,
ones.
I don't even. It seems chaotic. So
these
I
days,
call it.
Yeah, that's very fair.
No, I mean, that's also true. I mean, if like I don't really do drugs at all, but still I get to a border that I'm like, oh my God, do I have drugs on me?
I know. I'm like, did I touch a dollar bill that somebody did
Do I have
drugs
a
on?
gun? Like I've never
I
held a
know,
gun in my
every time
life.
I've
I'm like, is
checked,
there one?
my kids' like milk bottles, I'm like still on edge, even though I
Is this
know
gasoline or milk?
they don't
What did I
have
do?
anything.
What did
But
I
I'm
put in
like,
here?
what if like I put them down on a table and someone
Some
once touched that table who had done drugs, and then they show
Yeah.
up on the scan?
Yeah.
These are the things that come through my mind. So
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Every
I
time I
mean-
travel with Samus, I get the full body scan. So I know. I'm
You
like,
would never let Samus be your drug
yeah,
mule
they're like,
ever.
the crazy cat lady. That's number one suspect. We're gonna
yeah, no, they're always
search
like, give us
her.
both your palms. And I guess it's because really disgusting people use their
palm reading?
animals as yeah, exactly.
That's not nice.
Yeah, no,
That's how they
use-
say if you're safe. They read your palm and tell you.
Ah, I can
There-
tell. You're a very honest person.
Oh, your drug line is very long. Yes, we're going to have to search you.
Yes, everywhere.
And they put on rubber gloves. Please step over here to the side.
Yes.
Spread them, cough.
Oh God. Okay, we are so
I-
off the rails. Now.
don't even
Everyone's
know.
gone and dispersed.
Don't even know where I was. Yes, they
nobody can
dispersed.
conduct anything now.
No one on this podcast has ever done drugs or crossed the
Or
border with drugs,
muled.
and never will. But in general, I guess the cast and crew, even the police, thought that it was probably someone from LA, and it was likely a food service worker because another food service worker was actually fired for selling drugs a few days earlier.
Oh,
Wait, I just made the connection
it's
just
not a
now. What if the person that got fired came back and poisoned everyone?
Or maybe that's where they like misplaced their drugs and like, oh.
I knew I kept my drugs somewhere.
I heard the safest place to keep drugs is in clam chowder.
Not in Nova Scotia. Everyone eats that.
I wrote these notes myself, and I just made the connection. Someone
They
got
were about to
fired
get
for selling
caught,
drugs.
and they just like throw
It
them
couldn't
in
have
the
been them.
pot.
Couldn't have been them at all.
Too
No.
obvious.
Too obvious.
Oh my god. Sorry.
That's the Shyamalan twist we've been waiting for.
And you said there was no suspects.
I'm such an idiot. It's so fucking obvious. It was definitely that guy.
Wait, was he definitely?
Trisha!
Definitely
Trisha,
that
we
guy.
solved it. It was the guy that you fired. Oh my god.
Way to go.
Such an idiot. Well, after all these years, the PCP Chowder Bandit has not been identified.
Except by us right now.
And we'll likely never know who they are or why they spiked the meal unless that person comes forward. It's that person I just mentioned.
Yeah.
It's an open-ended mystery that makes the Titanic all the more interesting. That last sentence doesn't hit as hard when I've just solved the case.
I know. You could actually put this as a selling point. Like, watch us live solve a mystery.
Oh my, god.
Yes, that's definitely going to be
The drug dealer who worked as a caterer was fired, and then there was drugs in the catered food. Who did it?
I don't know.
Oh,
And
that's
for
the
almost
reel right
30
there.
years. He would have got away with it if it weren't for us meddling
It's
kids.
been 30 years, and I can still taste the PCP in the lobster chowder.
Oh God.
Wow.
This
Well,
will not deter me from eating lobster chowder in the future.
You
again,
can never
I
stop
want
me.
to try it more now.
I know
I'm
there's
like,
toxins in
maybe-
muscles.
I'm actually
You will
really
never stop
hungry.
me.
So,
I think I've told you guys this story. We were in Boston years ago. Damien and I went and we saw a baseball game. So like, they sell popcorn, hot dogs, all this stuff. And then there was a guy with this like heated, I almost said a heated cooler, like a heated box, and it said chowder on it. And he's like, chowder, fresh chowder. You can buy chowder at the baseball
Oh
game.
my God.
God, that's
That
so
does not
Boston,
seem-
so East
I
Coast.
don't know if I want
Like,
a
food
baseball
safe?
game.
Yeah.
With or
I
without
want a
PCP.
handheld food, not like
Listen, it
something
was
that's
like
a spoon.
And a hot soup on a hot
he would
day.
open. No, it wasn't hot. It was in April. He would open the top,
Oh.
and then it was
No.
steamy. Like it
No.
was a hot box.
All right, less
Okay, I still
more
don't trust
open now that I know it's April, but
And
still
it was
weird.
chilly and rainy. So if anything, a chowder sounded pretty good. But I'm like, a
Mhm.
baseball game?
Mhm.
So that's the story. A little bit of a shorter one, but
Well,
I still
yeah.
think it just adds to that Titanic lore. Like, my God. And we've solved the case.
Yeah,
Like,
I
kind
know.
of.
Pretty much. I mean, allegedly.
yeah.
Well,
Obviously.
I think it's pretty safe to assume that it's the drug selling caterer that drugged
I don't
the
know.
catered food.
I
I
would
don't
like
know.
to know. I'm just surprised there wasn't a more thorough investigation. But
Mhm.
It was the 90s. So, like, everyone's
Yeah.
fine.
right.
Wait, so
if
the
things had
caterers,
gone worse, maybe.
obviously they were from Nova Scotia.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't like
Mhm.
travel with them.
No, it's not like a circus.
Yeah. Do the food vendors travel with the cervix? Circus?
The cervix?
Does the food travel with the cervix? Okay, these are the important questions.
I think you're using your cervix wrong, but
That's not how you do it. So stupid. So stupid.
This whole thing is so stupid. That's how this.
but I was
started.
reeled in with Titanic. Like, if
I
the Titanic
gotcha.
wasn't involved, this story would
It's still
be
kind of funny, but the
be
context that it
funny.
was while filming the Titanic just makes it.
Yeah.
And the
Just
fact
makes
that
it
James
that much
Cameron
better.
comes off as like kind of a serious person, like we were talking earlier, like he's very intense. So the fact that he was high on PCP and that him and Bill Paxton kept it going, like, do you ever get drunk by accident and you're like, well, let's
Here
just
we
do
are.
this?
It's like one of their. It was probably one of their favorite stories to.
Oh,
bring up.
100%. Well, especially now since that Bill, like, God rest his soul, is moved on. Fuck, I
Yes.
love that man.
Mhm.
I would imagine that anyone who was with him that night, that's like probably one of their best stories. And the fact that he
for
was like
sure.
so chill, and he's at the hospital to be checked out, and he just like gets up and leaves and walks back to his trailer because he's like, I think I'm okay. I think I'm just like riding high, and he gets more high. Like, I just love that. There was
I
one
got
time
this.
at my old apartment that I went out. I think this was with Mel, and we went.
Mhm.
I don't know. We went out drinking. I don't know. And I got home kind of late, kind of buzzed, and so I must have ordered like pizza or chicken fingers or something. And I put on Trailer Park Boys, which is a kind of a full circle moment because, Canadian, whatever. So I'm watching Trailer Park Boys, laughing, definitely drunk, eating chicken fingers. And then I hear my roommate go, "You're up early." I'm like, "What?" And it was 5 a.m. And I
Oh my
hadn't gone to
God.
sleep yet. And I had to work at 9.
No,
Oh,
did you call in sick that
why?
day?
No, I definitely went to work. I got a shower, and I
Oh,
think I
wait,
slept
how
for
old
an
were you?
hour.
You were in your 20s.
I worked at my last job, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like that long ago.
Yeah.
I remember some nights, like if I went out, sometimes Finley and I would drive around for like a couple hours aimlessly at the end of the
That's so
night.
cute.
Like at home at like 3 a.m. and
Blasting
work
tunes.
at 7. Yeah. He had just a truck at the time.
A truck.
Yes, which he eventually sold because he was tired of moving everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So-
remember him saying that.
And
Yeah.
Finley's so nice, so he would definitely say yes and be like, "I fucking gotta sell this truck. Like, don't."
Yes.
Don't ever ask me again.
We all owe Finley for all the moves he's done.
Well, and now he's a monthly sponsor of the podcast. So
Thanks, Finley.
thanks again, friend and neighbor. Love you,
Especially
Finley.
if you've made it this far in our chaos again.
Yeah, I know.
I think that
Thank
he
you.
would. I could see him
Yeah.
working,
Oh, no.
having on the background to like give us the listen at least.
He does.
So-
Every once in a while, he sends me screenshots of the videos. So,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Just
If you're still
proof.
with us,
we want
thank
those
you
receipts, Finley. That
so
yeah,
much.
exactly. You're out there.
So, comment
Uh,
right now, Finley.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Leave your comment.
If you are listening on Spotify or Apple, can you leave comments on Apple? No.
I
Well,
think you
can. He's probably already
can
given us
when
a
you're-
review.
if you leave a review on Apple, I think you can write something.
Okay. So
Okay.
just
think.
however you can, just say Findlay.
Yeah.
It's spelled find lay.
Yes.
Findlay. The D is
That
silent.
Yes.
The D is silent. Okay. Well, let's wrap this up and say don't eat laced PCP chowder. And we love you.
No.
Oh, we should get chowder before we go to the Titanic exhibit.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get
And we'll
chowder in
take photos.
Halifax.
Yes.
Which is
There you
like,
go.
that's even more legit. And please keep listening. We love you guys so much. And follow us on Instagram. Follow us and like, share, subscribe, all that crap that all the
if you
YouTubers
really
say.
like us, make a Reddit post about us somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Please.
Reddit's been our
And,
good place, but it's been a little difficult lately.
Well, now they get mad at me
Mhm.
whenever I post, and I need to work on sounding organic when I plug
Yeah,
the
less-
podcast.
Less robot-y.
Hey, but if you guys plug us, that's super organic, much like
Yes.
homegrown PCP. Okay, so we're going to say goodbye. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. Yeah, it's growing in your backyard. Plant next to mint.
Buy us
Okay.
a bowl of lobster chowder.
We'll eat it. We're not scared.
With or without drugs. Okay,
Yeah. Okay,
bye.
bye.
Thank you for listening today. We loved having you. If you liked the episode, share with your friends, family, or anyone who would enjoy it. Also, take a moment to review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Leaving us a like or comment really helps. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, please visit our coffee page at www.ko-fi.com/coastfiles. Email us at coastfilespod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at coastfilespod, or visit our website at www.coastfiles.com. You can find the sources for today's episode on our website. See you next week with a new episode.